show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. It's a fun night. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around. No, I won't be turning around. It's the right time. You feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. It's a fun night. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around. No, I won't be turning around. It's the right time. You feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. We'll turn this around.
Hey everyone, welcome to Geeksvana Live. My name is Sean, you know me. It's great to see you all. Thank you very much for joining us on this Thursday evening. Hi to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. Lots of the regular names out there. Really good to see you all. Lynn Smith, hi, good to see you. The Grumpy Vlogger, how grumpy are you tonight, Lloyd? I want to know just how grumpy. Robin FPV, hi, good to see you, who has also become a channel member since we last streamed. So thank you for the support, Robin. I really do appreciate that. The Mojet, great to see you. Tailspin RC, Airview UAV, hi. Tailspin RC, Mike Plowman, Trevor Kerr Lewis. There are so many people here tonight, and it's fantastic. Thank you. And yes, Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm able to say that legitimately on a live stream because it's someone's username, which is awesome. And Floyd tells us that he's really grumpy. That's good to see. El Smeghead, our senior moderator, good to see you as well, sir. Thomas Ariels, good to see you, sir. Hope everything's okay over on the. Is it right to say the Green Isle? Over an island. Why don't I just say island? I hope everything's okay over an island. John Coopy, the FPV god. Good to see you, sir. John Coopy actually became our FPV lead on the new Geeksvana Discord channel, which I do have a little button here, which is supposed to drop in the chat a link to our Discord channel, but it's not working, so I'm going to cut and paste that in a minute. Unless somebody else who is already in the Discord can do that for me, that would be very helpful. Mike Drennan, hi, good to see you as well. Johnny DRC, Drone Shots, and everybody else back there. Really, really great to see you all. This evening, we're going to be talking to Claire Owen of DronePrep, and we're going to be looking at some exciting new software. And it's really the idea of this evening is one to show you all, of course, this great piece of software, but this is interactive, which is why we're going to try, and the word try, please remember that, we're going to try a live demo, because obviously, you know, nothing to do with their software, which what works perfectly, but more to do with internet connections and everything else like that. We never know what happens on a Geeksvana live show, and I'm surprised it's been going this long without people having to tell me that my audio's off or something. He says, check in the chat. So yes, that's going to be fantastic. But the idea is that this is an interactive process, so please do tag your questions with @Geeksvana with any questions that you have for myself or Claire as the demo's rolling, or during the interview stage as well. More than happily answer those. As you know, we're a very interactive show. Now, before we get onto that, we usually have a co-host or two, and the three amigos, as we've started to call ourselves. And I'm a solo amigo tonight. One of them is off doing drone business stuff up in the north of the country, and Stephen, who is our very regular co-host of the Flyby Guys, is actually in Africa, and he recorded a little video to say hi to everybody.
Hi everyone, Stephen from the Flyby Guys. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying the Geeksvana live show. Sorry I can't be with you this week. I'm currently in West Africa, in Togo, on drone operations. It's super hot here. It's incredibly hot. And I'm in the shade trying to escape the sun. I'm here on drone operations, and you will probably find out what I'm doing in the news or something. I don't know. I can't honestly officially say. So I'll see you all next time. Smash that like button, and I'll see you on the next live show. Fly safe. Where's my mojito?
I'm sorry, but does anybody else think that he doesn't look like he's working very hard? I personally don't know. I doubt it. Now, he's not able to tell us what he's doing there, as he was saying, for contractual legal reasons. But you can work it out. There was a hint in the video, actually, for anybody that wants to go back and rewind. And you'll also find on his social media as well, there's some details about what he's doing out there and what he does with drones all over the world, frankly, which is a very, very exciting job. Yes, El Smekhead says, Dubai, Africa, he's taking the mickey. Yes, he is. And I believe he's going on somewhere just as exotic straight after as well, actually. And he's actually starting to document his process of going to Africa and that type of thing. And Stephen, who is approaching the 1,000 subs actually on his own channel, the Flyby Guys, so do get over there. There's a link in the description. Do get over there and subscribe if you haven't done. He put out a video this week regarding taking drones across with him to Africa and traveling with drones. I'm going to play the first couple of minutes of it because I think it's quite interesting, and then to see the rest of it you can go across to his channel and watch that. So let's have a look at this.
I've known you now for a few months, and we've had a lot of fun, and I've taken you to some wonderful heights, and we've seen places that many others haven't. And I'm going away again. I was just wondering if you would like to join me.
As the world starts to open up from COVID, people are going to start travelling, and one topic which many people in the drone community start to talk about is where can I travel, or how can I travel with my drone? I think that this is a fairly good topic and an interesting topic to discuss. I have just left to go to the African continent, so we're heading to Lomé in the country of Togo, and we're going there on drone operations. But I wanted to take my Mini 2 with me because I really want to fly there, let's say recreationally. So I've heard lots and lots of stories from people who have been traveling to Africa with their drones and having their drones taken off them. And when you have your drone taken off you at the airport when you arrive, you'll never see it again. So just stopped off here in Paris. I've wrapped up my Mini 2 in my suitcase. I've wrapped it up in clothing. I've put my batteries and the controller in my hand luggage. So everything, the drone itself is in the hold of the plane here. And let's see when I arrive, will the drone make it? Will the drone survive customs at the end? Because the Mini 2 is small. I bought it in Dubai. It didn't really cost too much money, so I'm taking this risk. If I lose it, I lose it. If I get to fly in the country.
And there we go. So to find out what happens and to see whether Stephen's drone makes it to Africa, although I think he did actually mention it in that clip, but never mind. Go and watch the rest of it with the rest of the information that he wants to give you regarding travelling with your drone and that type of thing, because it is an interesting subject, especially as COVID restrictions start to loosen across the world. Although anyone that's got a holiday booked to Portugal might not think that way in the UK right now, but we won't get political. Not me, by the way. I didn't have one booked. But yes, it's a really great video. There's a link in the description to Stephen's channel. Please do get across and help him get towards that 1,000 subscriber mark, which is, of course, so important for YouTubers as it opens up all sorts of different things on the monetization side of things. Okay, I think it's time that we bring our guest in as I turn Claire's audio on. There we go. And yes, Claire, hi, how are you? I'm
good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming along to see us all. I really appreciate it. It's it's a fairly brave thing, frankly, to come along to a drone live show full of hobbyists and drone flyers to show us your new product and to hopefully show us a live demo. So it's a very brave thing to do.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, live demos are always fun, so fingers crossed, touching words. But I'm just really excited to hear the feedback. I mean, this product is new. It's the very beginning of our journey. We really want to listen to what everyone thinks of it now and also what will be useful going forward. So I'm really excited to hear a lot of the comments.
Excellent. Yes. And again, if you have any questions whilst we're running through this, please do tag at Geeksvana in the chat and we'll try to answer those as they come up and as we get gaps, etc. This is intended as an interactive experience, frankly. So now I know that you are the CTO and the co-founder of DronePrep, and your forte, as it were, of course, is the technical side of things. And this software was essentially your build. Which is one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on in particular. We are going to meet Gareth and Emily. Please tell me I got her name right. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, Emily, yeah.
I could see her and I thought, what was the name? Panic. We are going to have Gareth and Emily on in a future show, but I thought it was good to start here because, of course, to talk about the nuts and bolts of what the product actually is and what it's able to offer, etc. There is no one better than the person that designed it, frankly. So could you tell us a little bit about DronePrep and actually what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a lot. We've found it difficult to explain what we do very succinctly. So if you go onto our website, a lot of people go, what do you actually do? And then because we're involved in lots of very exciting projects as well, people kind of say, well, you're consultancy, you're software, you're technology. We're kind of a mixture of all things, and the two work rather symbiotically with each other. So if we're just talking about the product, very fundamentally at its basic level, we've created a map that shows low-level airspace interactions and also ground-based data as well. So the real concept of it started, and Gareth, who will be on the show soon, it really came from him about, 7 years ago. He was doing a project. He was a transport planner at the time. And he was doing a project to map out a canal network using a drone. And obviously to do that, he needed landowner permission for the takeoff and landing point. And he found it incredibly difficult to find who owned what piece of land for permission. Oh, yes. So he started, he spotted an opportunity way back then. And he and I met 2 or 3 years ago now. I was actually working I had my own prop tech company. He was working in a different industry, but he just sold me the drone dream and the vision and where the industry was going. And I was just hooked. I think it was brilliant. So that's kind of how we got together. And then since then, the team has grown. So we use our product to help with innovation projects. So you might have seen some of the recent Royal Mail delivery projects.
Absolutely. Which is very
really
exciting. Because as you say, with the way that even this product is being used, and of course the way that DronePrep is interacting with the drone industry, it's quite different to a lot of companies in that, exactly as you say, you can't really pigeonhole it or sort of tag it, because it is everything from this mapping system to being involved in cutting edge drone delivery with the Royal Mail, which was that to the Isle of Scilly?
So we've done one in Mull, and then more recently the Isle of Scilly, so from mainland Cornwall to the Isle of Scilly.
Amazing.
But that came out of over a year ago now. Gareth and I think during the first lockdown, were looking at logistical routes that were hindered by COVID. So we're thinking, okay, well, islands are quite cut off, and especially there with the bad weather and the travel restrictions. So we put this sort of research proposal together, and then it resulted in this incredible flight, which was brilliant. But for me, the most exciting thing is being able to use our software and use our data to be able to do that. Because I think, my background, I always talk about my first career, it was actually in property.
Yes.
So before I went into software full time, it was really in property. And I think, from a drone user and landowner perspective, there's got to be somewhere in the middle where people are happy and comfortable with what's going on. And landowners do have an opinion on what happens above their land. But we know they don't own the airspace. So it's this wonderful debate that we could talk around about.
It is actually something which it's interesting, actually, because obviously I first met you guys when you very kindly did a demo for me of the software, and it's interesting actually because even since that first meeting, probably 3 or 4 months ago now, the whole landowner debate in the UK has actually become more and more of a hot topic, and more of a topic that the CAA talk about more in the drone code and things, and that local authorities are starting to talk about a lot more. So it is something which is becoming very, very important. And if this product does work in a way that I hope it does, from the point of view of bringing the lower airspace together with the landowner side of things, and therefore being able to help unlock places to fly, then of course it's going to be a fantastic product, and it's going to have a benefit for hobbyists all the way through to the commercial side of things, which I think is wonderful. Which I'm not putting too much pressure on you at all, just
no pressure.
Save the hobby.
We're going to do it, so it's fine. We'll do it.
Yeah, indeed.
I think this is the thing, like with a lot of landowners, because it's, we can build a product, that's fine, but it's also the data that comes with that product, and that's the useful bit. So a lot of what we do is actually engaging with landowners. And we actually have a dedicated person in our team now, Christopher, and his role is as land partnership manager. And it's fascinating because many landowners actually, they'll reach out to us and say, I want to geofence, I don't want drones flying around here. And we're like, okay, well, why? And when you really sort of dig down and you understand what their concerns are, they're very happy for drone pilots to go and fly there. They just want to understand a few things, and they want to know who's there, are they insured, are they going to be liable if something happens? So they just want more information. So a lot of the work we're doing is actually, as you said, unlocking this airspace by getting landowners on board and making them realise it's such a good thing. Exactly.
Just very quickly, the Grumpy Vlogger, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Got to run, but we'll watch the show in replay. Thank you, Lloyd. Have a grumpy day, Sean. No, please, you have a grumpy day, sir. Yes. How many times can I say grumpy in the first 20 minutes of a live stream? There you go. I think that might just be a record for me. It's interesting actually, because it's something that we're seeing more and more with local authorities, especially where, because obviously we have these new UK drone rules, which of course there's a wonderful playlist explaining all about the UK drone rules on Geeksvana, and there's a link in the description, plug. But the UK drone rules are fantastic from the point of view that if you've got a sub 250 gram drone, of course, you don't have to have any separation from people and that type of thing. It has to be a safe flight, of course. And if you're not in an FRZ or in any restricted space from a NOTAM point of view, you're able to fly pretty easily. And then it almost felt like a bit of a sucker punch that the landowner thing became a really hot topic. And now, whereas before the hobby felt like they couldn't fly because you couldn't fly in town centres, etc., and that type of thing in the UK, now they feel like the sort of landowner side of things is starting to hold us back a little bit as well. And yeah, if we can find something to unlock that would be fantastic, because you guys are actually proactively contacting landowners as well, aren't you? Because you were saying that sorry, I've just forgotten his name, the new started chap that's dealing with the land for you. Christopher, but he's actually he's proactively approaching landowners as well, isn't he, to get the data?
Yeah, he is. He's already talking to quite a few of them, and there's a few lined up to come onto the platform actually with access policies. And this is the fascinating thing, because I think landowners, they're worried because they don't understand. And when you educate them, when you talk to them, when you make them realise that I'd say 99% of drone pilots just really want to do the right thing, they're actually very receptive, and it does open up airspace, and it opens up takeoff and landing points.
Excellent. Well, that's good. So you're not hearing a resounding no, and as you were saying before, that some people that actually think they want a geofence once they find out more information, are more open to things. But even just the natural approach, you're not getting just 100% of geofence, please. The moment the conversations start, then.
No, not at all. No, it's only been a couple of people that have actually even mentioned geofencing. So they've obviously read it somewhere and thought, well, this would be a good idea. And there are going to be some instances where certain parts of land do need to be protected and restricted for various reasons.
Yes.
But the majority of it's not. I mean, one really good example is we're working with the estate manager of private owner who owns multiple farms and estates. And they've kind of looked at their map of one of the estates, which is, I think it's 5,000 acres. I mean, it's pretty big. And they actively said, okay, well, this part of the farm is very active and we have machinery and we actually use drones. So we'd be very nervous about opening it up there.
Yes.
But actually this side of the estate, which is 5, 10, I think even 12 fields, that's huge. We don't really do much around there. So actually, maybe we could do something.
Excellent.
So then it's just having those conversations. So
Yes,
that's what we're doing actively at the moment.
Well, that's exciting. Trevor Kerr-Lewis, thank you for the £5 super chat. I do appreciate it. Hashtag Geeksvana. Would it be helpful if DronePrep showed categorized zones for A1, A2 or A3 areas on the map? That's an interesting one, actually, because, of course, we're now, but from the CAA, we're having it sort of drummed into us about these three sections of the open category. And the issue, of course, from a mapping point of view, is that that's kind of fluid because, of course, A1 is close to people and flying over people. And, of course, mapping, you can't really show where people are at any one time. Because, for instance, a high street at 12 o'clock on a Saturday is certainly, close to people and flying over people. But perhaps, at 6 a.m. where the shops aren't open yet, there's no one there, then, of course, it can be flown by greater size drones with qualifications, etc. So it's an interesting one, the airspaces, because there is a bit of fluidity. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily possible on a mapping side of things, but it does cover quite a few things. Shall we move on and actually?
It does. I mean,
sorry, carry on.
Sorry, I was going to say on that point, and I don't know how active the application is, but very early during the first lockdown, some people I met through sort of professionally built an app called Crowdless. And it would tell you how busy certain shops were.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that's useful. So you can actually see when the majority of people are shopping at certain times. And people were logging it because they wanted to avoid shops at certain times because of obviously being close to people during the pandemic. So that could be useful. I haven't thought of it before.
Yeah, no, indeed, absolutely. It all helps. Okay, so if I switch across, if you start to share your screen, I will switch across to the share button, and the magic of Geeksvana may flicker momentarily here as we switch across to the different screen. Oh no, look at that! I didn't even need to say that. You are such a professional. There we go.
Don't say that. I'll ruin it now.
The first thing I wanted to explain, actually, our moderator, El Smekhead, asked a question at the beginning, which is it available on all devices, Android, iOS, PC, etc.? And I can actually
not yet.
I can answer this one myself from the point of view that it's browser-based at the moment, isn't it, rather than app-based?
Yeah, it is. It's browser-based. We do have plans for a mobile application, and it will be available on all devices. That will be later in the year, but between now and when we're actually able to build that, because it will be a different design, because what we're going to show you, it won't work on the mobile. In the meantime, I am going to do some work with our development team to actually make this more mobile friendly. So it won't be perfect, and it might not be beautiful, but it will work.
Yes.
Just give me some time.
But at the moment, will it run from iOS browsers as well as Android browsers and PC browsers, etc.? Or all browsers, and actually on a tablet it's pretty good. Yes, but it's just on a small mobile, it starts to not break down, but obviously just looks. There's a lot of information, as you'll see when they sign in, to fit in a very small amount of space. But again, most of us drone flyers actually do fly with tablets, etc. these days anyway, so that we can see more from the camera. Okay, so this is the login page.
This is the login page. So, I mean, it's a very straightforward login page. The only thing I will point out is this background picture was taken by our pilot in residence, Chris Gorman, who some might know as Big Ladder photographer.
Excellent.
And this was actually taken in Mull on the morning of the very first drone delivery with Royal Mail.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The beautiful sunrise. Yeah, It's cool. We really like it. Okay, so application. So obviously login page. If you haven't got login, you can register. So it's going to be quite slow. Also another picture by Chris, which will load in the background. So he took that compliant, all permission
very nice.
For that flight. So yes, you can register here, which is very simple. You can register by putting in an email address, password, obviously confirming password and register, or you can sign up with Google, Facebook or Twitter, which makes it really simple when you're logging back in a second time. So I'm going to do that now. It will be a little slower than usual.
Don't worry. This is still faster than a lot of applications that I use. Trust me.
Okay, good. I mean, just a couple of things to point out. We're very fortunate. We've been backed by Microsoft the Startups program.
Wow.
So we've got access to their world-class infrastructure and architecture. So it's pretty bomb-proof in terms of the system that it's built on and the stuff we've got going on in the background. And we also amazingly have been backed by Esri, which is the mapping company as well. So lots of support from both of those big powerhouses, which is great. So when it loads,
yes,
we'll see the UK. So I'm just going to zoom into the map to start with. Hang on, I'm going to move my face out of the way so I can navigate. So you can search by address. You can put in a town, you can put in a street, you can put in a postcode. You can actually use your current address if you set the browser permissions.
Excellent.
And then I've already clicked on the map. But basically, the concept is you zoom into an area of interest that you might be in, and then you can click on a map, and we're going to tell you some stuff. So when this loads, I'll talk you through what we're looking at. I'm going to click here. I believe this is National Trust layer.
Don't say those words.
It's going to load on the left-hand
Don't say those
side.
words to drone pilots in the UK. National Trust.
Oh God, sorry. Should we move it? Let's move along. National Trust. Who?
That's it.
No.
That's it.
I mean, look. And look, the good news is about National Trust. I know someone who manages a couple of National Trust estates, and he's really receptive to drone pilots using some of the land.
Absolutely.
So it's going to happen at some point. We've just got to keep on at them. Let's just keep all badgering them.
We've also been giving the advice in the last few weeks, actually, on some of the other shows we've been advising about finding places to fly. That actually there is the ability to speak to the local managers, because obviously not all National Trust sites are centrally managed. Some are sort of, there's different infrastructures even within National Trust. But sometimes you can get lucky if you call up or visit on the day and have a chat with the people there. That actually they're absolutely fine with it. So Johnny Mac 26 says National Cuss. There you go.
I think that's being nice. I've heard worse. No.
Yes. Don't start.
Sorry. I promised I wouldn't swear.
You did.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is actually an FRZ, which you probably all recognise.
Absolutely.
But the idea is we're going to click on the map, and then the side panel will update. It is being quite slow. So here we go. What we're looking at latitude and longitude, which is quite helpful. We've actually integrated with What3Words. So we've partnered with them on some of the project work that we're doing. So quite useful to have that in there. And actually what it's done is it's loaded in a land parcel. So we can see, if I zoom in a bit further, it is being a bit slow. I do apologise. It's usually
That's
a bit
okay. Don't worry.
Okay, but it's nice when I can talk you through
in actual fact, if you stop there 1 second, I'm just going to very quickly. This is my browser, which I've just loaded across the top. I just want to show people very quickly, because I want this to be a fair thing. This is my browser, which is obviously using my internet in the office, so it's not coming across Zoom and everything else like that. And here you can see the speed of the app is very, very quick, frankly. It is one of the things that impressed me about it. People know that I like to give things a fair thingy, a fair crack. But yeah, so this is the speed that you can expect. And the parcel loading up very quickly on the side there. So yes, we'll go back to your demo there. Sorry, I just wanted to show people.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, we spent a lot of time working with data.
Yes, which was something that I was really impressed with, because with Land Registry, with your own data coming in, with What3Words, the FRZs, everything else like that coming in, there's a lot of data piling up on this, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is big data. We've got over 100 million rows in the database, and it's crunching through a lot of this just to load it in the first time took weeks. So that was painful, but we did it. But I'm laughing now because it's done.
Yes, indeed. Flashbacks.
Exactly. Twitching. Cool. So what we're looking at here is the land parcel. And actually, this is a really interesting one. I hadn't obviously picked this on purpose, but what we're looking at is a title. So I'm sure a lot of you know that land is obviously registered, and each parcel has a registered title number. So we can see here, this is the title number, it's freehold property. We can see the address of what we're looking at. And you can also see who owns it. So this is the name of the freeholder, which is the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead. And we've got an address for how to contact them. So what we've done is actually mapped out all the title numbers in one, we'll group them together. So you can see that this one parcel is it's kind of split into weird
Yeah,
shapes. So
but
they've obviously
that's
sold
really
off lots
handy though,
previously.
because we do get that question from people where they say, or which bits do the council own and which bits don't they own, and that sort of thing. And it is interesting when you look at town centres, because of course one parcel can be all of the footpaths and roadways and things and everything that they control as one parcel. Obviously, they're going to own other parcels within that area as well, of course. But it's interesting to show the audience how that works, because that was a chunky bit of land all through the area.
Yeah, it was. And I think when you're looking at flight planning or looking to find places, obviously the larger the piece of land you find, the easier it's going to be if you need necessary permissions. So,
Yes.
to reach out to one landowner rather than multiple.
Exactly.
So if I zoom in further, so I'm just going to very quickly show you how the layers work.
Thank
So
you.
we've got multiple layers, but you can actually turn them on and off. So just for the purpose of what I'm about to show you, I'm going to remove the FRZ. So we get a
Shocking.
clearer picture.
Never do that.
I know, you have to put it back on. So I'm going to zoom in, and it will take a little while to load because of the call. But what it's going to do, it's going to load in every single land parcel. So you can actually see now they're loading in. So you can see how many parcels you're dealing with.
Now, for us people that have former property careers like you and me, we recognise
Yes.
this is the Land Registry outlines,
It is.
which of course is just about the most accurate way of finding out, not necessarily always exactly who owns them, but actually how the property is split up. So you can see, as you say, if you needed to fly from a property along there's quite a few parcels where you could approach someone that has a very large plot of land that gives you the takeoff separation you need and that type of thing, rather than having to approach multiple smaller units, etc. And this is giving you that information before you've even got to the area. That's excellent.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're trying to make it as easy as possible, because I think the thing that Gareth found way back when he was doing the canal network mapping, it was really difficult to find this. And actually, even the Land Registry portal, when you're trying to navigate through that, that's quite tricky to use as well. And even they've admitted that. I mean, we work with them really closely. They've got some good friends in there. And we're actually backed by them. We're on the Land Registry and Ordnance Survey Accelerator Programme at Geofencing. So we've been through that process with them. So we're very, very close to Land Registry. And so we know how to get as much up-to-date data as possible. Now, just getting the data, I mean, the interesting thing is this information here that we're looking at, this address data, that doesn't come with the data that we're looking at. So we've done a ton of work to extract and then merge data behind the scenes to give you this up-to-date overview of ownership. And not every single land parcel will have it. So let me try and find one that doesn't, so I can show you what that looks like. So if it's a commercial property or other such entity, we'll be able to pull the address through. Sometimes on the residential alone, all we get is that's commercial, so that's a bad example. I think all of these might be commercial because we're on the main high street. But basically, if it's just a purely residential, all you get is the title number. But even just knowing that, we've actually inputted a lookup service. And you probably know this, but I'm just going to show you what that looks like.
Excellent.
If I duplicate the tab, we've actually put it in a handy section. I'm just going to reload. So we've actually put it already in the app, so the link to where you'd find that. So we've got our FAQs. I'll come back to this page, but to show you for the purpose of this, we've got some FAQs, and we've got one here saying, how do I find landowner's address for permission? So we do talk you through how to do it. But if you find a parcel which just has a title number and no address, you can actually open the Land Reg portal. I'll just check I've copied the title number. Otherwise, I'll be pasting something weird in there, like my password for which we don't want. And then title number. I'm not a robot. And then by doing this, all I've done is copied and pasted into this title number section, hit the I'm not a robot. And then this is going to search the Land Registry, and it's going to give me the full address. So that's how I find it if you don't see it in the application. If you want up-to-date information on who owns this, unfortunately, the only way to do that for the ones that don't automatically have it is to buy a title plan and
register. Which if it's on the commercial side of things, then obviously that has a benefit to it as well, doesn't it? Being able to get hold of the information that simply.
Yeah, and that's the way that is the most up-to-date register. So it doesn't get more accurate than that.
Yes, excellent.
Okay, great. So that's land parcels. Just whilst we're here, I'm going to show you the map tools because it's relevant, I guess, to what we're looking at. So we've included some drawing tools just to help plan flights. And I think you touched on earlier being 50 meters or 100 meters or whatever it is that you need to measure out your flight envelope. So I've dragged a radius tool, and you'll see on the right-hand side, as I drag in and out, the radius will update. And then I can let go, and that's going to stick on the map. And then I've actually got a drawing tool. So if I wanted to draw a little map of where I might be flying, probably a bit better than that. but you can see it's
I
there.
was more going to laugh if you actually
probably
ended up
in the
drawing
circle.
something, but yeah.
Oh, I should have drawn a drone. I'm
Randomly.
there. I usually draw smiley faces, but I didn't think that was appropriate. And then we've got, if you're looking at here and say, actually, gosh, I don't really want to fly over there. I don't want to include that in my flight envelope. We've got a handy lasso tool, so I can just select what I've just drawn. I'm going to highlight it and grab it. And then when it's selected, I can actually move this around the map. So if that's the route you wanted to fly, I can move this around until I'm comfortable with the position on the map and where I think I'm going to fly, having already looked at who owns the land, I've done my due diligence beforehand. And then once you've done that, what you can actually do is save that view. So you can give it a title and a description. I'm going to hit save. And then we've got a section at the top. I'm just going to hover over it where it says save site.
Excellent.
So that's where it's going to go. It's just saving at the moment. But it's really just doing a screen capture of what we're looking at. And that's for reference later. You might be doing your research beforehand. Oh, there we go. We've killed it. That took longer than I thought.
Your audio went a little bit squiffy at one point there as well. I thought, let's not save any more maps.
Okay, no, sorry, I nearly killed it.
No.
But luckily,
it's always funny.
here's one I've prepared earlier.
Yes.
So save sites at the top. We've got all of them listed here. You can search. It's fairly intuitive. So I put Bristol in, it will search for Bristol. And if I click on view, it's actually going to load in that saved site. So all the work I've done previously, I can come back to. I can make notes. I can edit it. I can go back on the map and move my flight envelope and my drawings. I can really do whatever I want with it.
Yes.
When it loads.
So in terms of sort of usability, you people who register for free on the free accounts, what level of access of what you've shown so far would they get?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's one where we've had a sort of, it's been hard in the team to work out what we can and can't just give for free.
Yes,
because, so in an ideal world, we'd give it all for free. But we got to eat. We got to keep going. And actually, the subscription is a reinvestment back into the company. So we see the way we see this is we're taking the subscriptions to then put more development and more time back into the product, which will make it then better. So it's kind of reinvesting. I'm just going to close that and come back to this browser. But okay, so in terms of what's free, the map, all of the data I've shown you is available in the free version. The only thing that's not is this land parcel data. And that is because we have to actually pay a lot of money to get that in the first place. So we have to charge for that. Otherwise, we just can't put it in the system. But in terms of what you get data-wise, here, I'll show you the layers on the left-hand side. We've got the measurements, which is the flight envelopes I've just drawn. So you've got FRZs, we've got foreshore, we've got green space. We've got the land parcels, obviously, is for the paid version. You actually see the outline of the land parcels in the free version. We just don't pull it through on the side panel. So we are trying to give as much information as possible. Obviously, National Trust. We've got overhead power lines. There's a big ETL.
Excellent. They're
in there as well. And then we've got rail lines and triple SIs. So they're all for free as well. And we will be loading more in as we build.
Yes, absolutely. It's just interesting to explain that as we go through. And then you've got things like the light memberships, the plus memberships, and the premium memberships that sort of go up in monthly rate, and you can save more of the searches and that type of thing, can't you? And obviously there's more, the actual mapping tools themselves become available.
Definitely.
Is it £10 a month they start at for the light membership?
Yeah, absolutely. So we try to make that as low as we possibly could. So it's £10 a month. And I think the thing to point out is it's a rolling contract. So we're not going to tie anyone into anything they don't find useful. So if you sign up today and you look at it and say, it's not for me, don't use it. Like, we're not going to tie anyone in. We're very, very flexible. What we want to do is build a really useful tool that hopefully people will find useful and then keep coming back to use it.
Exactly. Whilst you're on that particular map view, and sorry to take over your presentation a little bit there. Sorry, I thought it was worth. The purple parts there. That's actually the foreshore, isn't it? That's showing.
It is the foreshore, yeah.
Which again is a really handy tool, obviously, to have within the same map for the on the hobbyist side as well, because of course we can fly our drones from there. Yes, so that's an interesting one to have, because of course that's showing it within the FRZs and everything else like that. So
Yeah, it is. And the interesting thing is when you overlay the triple SIs as well, so the sites of special scientific interest, there are actually quite a lot on foreshore. So
Yes.
whilst it's all great, but actually if there are nesting birds, then please just be careful and just obviously look into that before you fly.
Yeah.
We've heard really sad stories about puffins being accidentally bothered by drones, and we don't want that.
No, exactly, which is why having as much information as possible is so important. On your left hand side there, on the information part, if you scroll down, there's an extra section, isn't there, which that if there is actually contact details for the local authority, it does show links to their website, etc., doesn't it, and that type of thing. Which I know it won't show on that part because it's a triple SI, but
yeah, exactly. Well, it was.
Well, there you go. That's showing it there. So it's again, it's showing the local authority, the name, the policy. Of course, if you've contacted them and they've given you a policy and you that's updated as this huge map starts to update. But then you've got the Facebook, Twitter, and website there. So again, if someone's flying out over that direction, they're going to be able to research. And actually go on the website and check what their drone policy is, email the council before they visit, etc., which I think is great access.
Absolutely. I mean, we spent months putting that out there. That's a bespoke data set that we put together in our team, and it took ages and it was painful, and I was swearing at gas. So why are we doing this?
Yes. Well, when I was
like, no, it's really important.
Indeed, when I was having a play and I was clicking on all sorts of different parts of the country, I was like, okay, maybe they've just done the south, and maybe they've just done London where there's sort of density. No, actually, all the way up here in north, there's data for local authority information up there as well, which I actually I think that's really different because again, it's bringing everything, all of the different side of things together. Whereas it isn't just FRZs or NOTAMs and that type of thing. It's obviously it's bringing together, as you say, all of the lower airspace and the ground tools. What I think is going to be interesting is how this gels in the point of view of being a usable tool for hobbyists and all the way through to commercial. Because if having just passed my GVC and put an operations manual together and all that type of thing and all the hurdles that I have to jump across that you were talking about with Gareth in his work, I can appreciate how wonderful this product is, and it's going to be interesting to see how the two sides of that sort of interact and which way the product goes in terms of which part of the hobby and industry it ends up serving, because you can never tell at these early stages, can you, in development where it's going, because of course we have the future with UTM and everything else coming down the line, etc., and that's perhaps where products like this are going to come into their own as well. But do you have plans in terms of the development of this? Are you able to tell us anything which you're hoping to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got, it's a software platform, so it's constantly going to be in development. Like this is literally the beginning. So we keep referring to this as the MVP, which is minimum viable product.
Yes.
So this is what we've launched with. This is like version 1. And we've got lots of plans we've actually got some development happening right now. So I'll talk to you about those features in a second. But we will be building this over many, many years, and we'll keep updating and keep iterating. So if anyone's got any feedback or thoughts, or they've got any ideas for data that could be better, I would literally love to hear it. If you've spoken to South Gloucestershire Council and you go, actually, they do have a proper permission, they just haven't communicated it very well.
Yes.
We'd love to know, and we can then upload that onto the system so we can all see that together. Just an example, I'll just show you very quickly. Sorry, I've avoided your question. I will come back to it.
No, that's okay. I also interrupted your live demo, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, back at you. No. So I'm just going to take Bristol as an example, because this is what happens when we get a chance to talk to the councils. And we've been a small team that's now growing, and as I say, we've got a dedicated resource who's going to be speaking to lots of councils. But I've zoomed into Bristol. We've got a really good relationship with the Film Office and the council there. And what they've done is they've actually loaded on, I think it's 31 sites within the city centre where you can fly.
Oh,
and there's a policy behind that. Yeah, and this is what it looks like. So we've done I think we've done a very good job of building the software, but we haven't done a very good job of marketing. So we also now have a dedicated marketing resource, Beth, our wonderful Beth, who's going to come and do all that for us. She's already started brilliantly. So you can see here on the left-hand side that we've loaded in. This is a parcel here. This is one of Bristol Council's land parcels that they own, and they do allow access, but you do need to contact the Film Office for permission first. So they've got a clearly stated policy. That at the moment, this link will kick them out to their website, but we are actually writing a bespoke policy for them,
Brilliant.
which will give drone users a much clearer idea of what they will and won't allow.
Yes. Okay. One question which is relevant to the bit that we're looking at now, actually, which is from Lindsay Hayes. Hi, Lindsay. Good to see you. He says this looks good. So that's a good start. But on landowner policy, what happens where the policy is overreaching? Do you run their policies through any kind of filter from the point of view of ensuring that they're not sort of overreaching from the point of view of either paid access to airspace or that type of thing? Is that something which you look at all?
I mean, absolutely, we would. It's not something we've come up against yet. We haven't actually had anyone specifically ask us. I mean, because obviously, people are talking about the future. One of the things that we get, and this, I suppose, is feedback from the point of view of how the information is filtered. Is that we do speak to a lot of local authorities up and down the country, viewers that have interacted with those authorities, and they're either trying to charge for access to airspace or they're doing other things which are potentially overreaching in what they're allowed to do. Of course, they have total say of what happens on their land, whether you can take off or not, and that really is the be all and end all. But some try to sort of prevent overflight and that type of thing. And it would be perhaps important to see that the local authorities and landowners have that explained to them as well, if that makes sense. That the access to the airspace. 100%.
Yes. Excellent.
So sorry, we're a bit delayed, but that's part of what we do. So when we speak to a landowner, it's an education process. So this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. Brilliant. Can you geofence? No, you can't. So, but this is what you can do. So yeah, we do a lot of work with that, and actually Gareth, Emily, and Christopher are exceptional at doing that. So we will be loading on lots more sites like what we're looking at now.
One question from Mike Plowman is actually: are you considering any kind of trial basis for the lower the light trial, maybe like a 14 or a 30-day free trial for people to try things out?
Yeah, we really wanted to. So we've the way that we've built the platform is we're actually using Stripe, which is incredible for sort of processing the subscription model because it's so secure, and that's why we chose it. So everything is very secure with this application. To actually offer the trial period, it's a huge amount of development work. So we haven't built that yet.
Yes.
But if anyone is specifically interested in having a test with the system, please reach out to me, and I'm sure we can have a conversation. And we can do something. And
Gareth has very kindly been placing the support email address in the chat as well. So hi Gareth Watmore, good to see you.
Hi Gareth.
If anybody's wondering why he's randomly answering, that is the Gareth we were talking about before from DronePrep as well. So yes, thank you. I appreciate the extra support in the chat there, Gareth. It's very good. Wonderful. I will allow you to continue. Sorry.
No, not at all. So okay, I'm just going to show you very quickly what the map can do. So if I go to Malvern, which is our home office, so we always go here. So this is DronePrep HQ, and the reason I'm going here is because we've got some lovely hills. Because I just want to show you what the map can do, and in terms of maybe
Excellent.
A discussion around where we're going with this. So you can see there's a rail line here. We're actually, and you heard it here first because we haven't done any marketing around this, and it's just literally been built today, so it won't be released for another couple of weeks. But we've built in a 50-meter rail buffer along the rail lines, just as an indicator, obviously, of what that looks like. So that's one of the features which is coming soon. It's not the most exciting feature. So what I'm going to do is zoom in, and we actually have a 3D mode within the map. So I'm going to click the 3D button on the left.
This is where we break the
internet. This might take a little...
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. You might have to just be a bit patient with me.
This is the programmer coming out in Claire, where she now wants to test things to destruction to see if she can break.
Yeah, let's break it.
Yeah, let's break the Geeksvana live stream.
I promise it's worth it. I promise it's worth trying. So we're now in 3D mode, and I'm going to flip the map. So now we start to see the gradient of the land. So this is, for me, is what is really exciting, to be able to kind of see what you're dealing with, see where you might be flying. The Malvern Hills actually have got triple SI all over them, which is really unfair, but because it's so close to us, we are talking to them about opening up for drone flight.
Excellent.
Not yet, but bear with us. We will make this happen. We're determined.
You are banging at the door. That's good. Excellent.
Well, we are, yeah, because our office is literally just over here. So it's not far to bang. So we've got 3D mode here. You can pan around, you can pan inside and out, which, we think looks great. I mean, I can flick it into satellite mode, which you can do. You've got different imagery. If I do that, it probably will break the live stream, so I won't do that.
You're so
but the reason
tempted,
I wanted to show, I'm so tempted and like, okay, I'll hit it, bye. But no, the reason I wanted to show you this is because the next feature which we've built, and which we are really excited about in the office, is we've actually been building something called a daylight tool. So Chris Gorman, our pilot resident, he loves his shadow pictures, so sunset, sunrise, when the light is long.
Yes.
And I've seen some incredible photos and imagery from, those times of day. And actually, when I got the Mavic app for the first time, it was at sunset. And I was just, even me not really knowing what I was doing, I kind of took a picture and it was amazing because of the light. So the tool that we've built, it's not me, even me. But the tool that we've built, there'll be a little button which is going to show up on here. It's called the daylight tool. You hit the daylight tool, and what it's going to do is start an autoplay of today's date, and it will show you sunrise and sunset in motion. So you'll see the sunrise.
I'm going to very quickly load my little version on top, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to try it myself, because one, it will happen quicker, but also two, it'll be a little test of it. Was that Malvern, did you say? How did you find that location?
Yeah, Great Malvern.
Great Malvern, thank you. Okay, so Great Malvern. Oh, yes, there we go. So I'll zoom in a little bit, and I now need to put it into 3D mode, don't I? Where is that? Where is that button?
On the left-hand side, at the bottom of those icons.
Do you mean the big button that says 3D?
I was trying to be nice, but yeah.
And yes, you can see how much quicker it loaded there on the same computer that we're streaming from. And how do I toggle from a...
So you've got two options. You can either right click and drag up and down to manipulate the map, or you've got tools on the left-hand side as well. It's quite fun, isn't it?
That's pretty cool. I like that. Sorry,
do you know what?
The geek in
really
me
cool.
really likes that. Oh my God, it spins.
Yeah, no, you can do whatever you want with it.
So right-hand click
and
it's fully orbital, essentially. That's amazing.
But what I really like is if you zoom all the way out, like all the way. Keep going.
That's amazing.
I don't know why. I enjoy it so much.
That's
You
very
can zoom
cool.
in and pretend you're desktop skydiving.
Definitely flying above the permission there.
Yes, yeah. Oh no, I don't recommend that as the flight plan.
Okay, so I'll zoom in there and right-hand click. That is so cool. Okay, that's got.
Yeah, we showed the team at Esri this.
That's got the geek in me, really.
Company, they like that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll zoom out a little bit there. And the daylight tool, that's going to be, is that?
So it's not live yet.
Oh,
it will be live in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, but it really will. You'll see the sunrise, and you can pick any day, past or future, and it will show you the sunrise and sunset and show you the exact time as well. So for flight planning,
that's amazing.
We're all getting very excited about getting some sunrise and sunset imagery.
Oh yes, no, that's amazing. That is really, really cool. Sorry, I'm just going to sit here and play with this for about 20 minutes now. Just
flick it into satellite mode. See if that's quick on yours. So on the left-hand side, it's the third icon from the bottom.
1, 2, 3. So the 4
dots.
It's
called base map if you hover over it.
Imagery or imagery hybrid. Which one?
I would go with imagery.
Okay, we'll break it a bit, not completely. Oh, I clicked on a parcel. Okay.
That's okay.
Excellent. Oh yeah, and look, see that's where I'm starting to enjoy this now, because we're in 3D mode, and we're obviously we're still able to click on things and plan flights and everything else like that. So you can actually get almost like a sort of situational awareness sort of view of the whole thing. Yeah.
You can use the drawing tools as well in 3D mode.
That's very cool. Well, I'm very impressed by all the buttons and the things I can do on it. So let me close my browser again before the audience all switch off. And yes, there we go.
We'll just be here all night, just moving the map around.
Indeed, once I get carried away with that. Guess what I'm doing tonight, everyone?
Yeah.
I'm playing with
the 3D model. It's kind of my weekend.
But it was the same when Google Earth first came out. The amount of time I played with just the globe and zooming into places and zooming across to places and things was incredible. Anyway, that's enough about my misspent years. Playing with tech.
No, it's all good fun. I mean, the other thing we'll be bringing into this, so at the moment, obviously the data sets are, a lot of them, they come in a 2D format, so we're making them 3D. But the FRZs will be 3D within the application soon. So that's coming also. And the other bit of information we're bringing into this is important buildings, is what they're called. Okay. So schools, prisons, hospitals. So we'll just, when you click on an area and you're planning a flight, if you're within a certain proximity of one of these buildings, we'll just flag it. So we'll just say, look, just so you're aware, you're within 150 meters of a school, for example. Yeah, no, so depending on what type of drone you're flying. So just a bit of awareness around, what's near you.
Okay. No, that's superb. So I can start to see the sort of the... I don't want to call it the lower end user because I more mean from the use of functionality that actually the hobbyists can still get quite a bit of information out of this, especially with things like the 3 words and the local authority information and that type of thing. I think that's really, really good info before you travel somewhere.
Definitely. And actually, the other thing to point out is when we do load on the drone access policy, say, for example, what I just showed you in Bristol, the Bristol City Council, that is all available for free users. So we don't charge. When a landowner logs an access policy with us, that is free for everyone.
Oh, that's very good. That is superb. Yeah. Excellent.
Brill. I mean, I don't think there's a lot else to show you. I've shown you most of the map. Perfect. It's not hugely complicated. Yep. I mean, kind of not very exciting, but important. We've got the drone code in here.
Yeah, no, the drone code is very, very important. Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. I meant like... I meant for the application.
I know.
You all know it so well.
I'm being evil, don't worry.
We've got some FAQs, contact us, social groups. So that's kind of just very basic stuff. And then if I just click to the account settings, this is where you upgrade or downgrade at any time. So completely up to you. Brilliant. And this is what you get with your membership. But obviously any questions, please just reach out to us.
And again, the more, the higher up the membership you go, people can clearly see that, you're going to be at that premium end, you're going to be multi-operator, heavy users that are planning, many missions a month. And at the low end,
and that comes down to
hobbyists.
Yeah, and that comes. I mean, the pricing model comes down to data storage because obviously anything we store we have to pay for.
Exactly.
And we are using Microsoft Azure, which is obviously brilliant, but it's the most expensive. Yes. But that's why it's so good. So there's a data storage cost, which is why that pricing model scales.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. If you click stop sharing, and I will press my button almost at the right time. Only a tiny amount of messy screen there. There we go. That's not feeding on my OCD too much. Well,
oh, good. We didn't break it. That's good.
That's fantastic. We're still online. Yes, no, we're definitely still online. That's still working, which is wonderful. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for being brave enough to try the live demo as well, because it's we have spoken to other software companies and other things in the past, and it's very difficult to. There's a real value in live interaction, which is why, again, with Gareth in the chat, it's fantastic because obviously he's interacting with everybody there as well. And that's one of the takeaways that I took from our first couple of meetings is actually how interactive you guys are, and the fact that you do genuinely want to listen to us hobbyists as well as, of course, the industry and everything else to try and get this product right, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't know what the industry needs, which is why we've got to listen. I mean, we've got some very experienced drone users within the team, but there's only 5 of us, so we need to listen to everyone else. And when we're building product and we're working out what's next in the roadmap, we really, really do need the feedback to make sure that what we're building is useful. And it sounds really cheesy, but we just want everyone to win. We want everyone to have a really nice time. We want everyone to fly safely, compliantly, and just have the best time. Yes. And we want drone pilots to be happy, and we want landowners to be happy, and we want to share the airspace because it's ours.
So would the sort of the dream world scenario then in sort of 2 years, 3 years time, DronePrep is a beautifully established product and everybody knows it as well as they know other things like drone assist and that type of thing, etc. And the landowners equally know it as well. And then of course you have this product where we're going to be able to go on ideally and be able to essentially find out whether we can fly or take off from that location and land from that location, or if there are hurdles which I was to go through pretty much for the whole country. I mean that's obviously your aim, isn't it, to try and get through as much data as possible in the end. And that's exciting.
Absolutely. And And just enable that contact information. So if a landowner registers and you want to fly on their land, just that ease of contacting them. So an ability to just reach out straight away and say, this is who I am, this is why I'd like to come and fly, and this is when I'd like to come. And for them to go, okay, great. And that's what we want.
No, indeed. And Gareth is just saying in the chat that he's looking forward to the next session too, where we can also share more about the commercial drone projects enabled by the platform, including the work with the Royal Mail and NHS. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that as well. But this is where I wanted to start the Geeksvana DronePrep journey, as it were, because as I said, it's really good, because then in the next conversation when we're talking about this product and integrating into everything, then people know our audience know that the product well by then, and obviously we've had the designer show us herself, so I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Okay, I'm just going to disappear you into the background while I say goodbye to the audience. But look at that, 10:05. We're actually pretty close to your 10 o'clock sleeping deadline, aren't we? So.
Yes, time for me to go sleep now. So old.
I just thought I'd embarrass you there. Yeah.
Nicely done.
So that's Claire making notes. Do not go on Geeksvana again. Only pre-recorded interviews. But seriously, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. We look forward to welcoming you on here again very, very soon.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, that's the show for this evening. That is DronePrep. Please let me know in the comments below after the show as well. Everyone that's watching this on the replay, let me know your thoughts and feedback to it. All of that will get passed on as well. I was excited to bring DronePrep into Geeksvana from the point of view that that this is a challenging kind of product. This isn't an easy product to put out into the marketplace, and it's interesting from my point of view that these group of people that are running this company actually want to talk to us as hobbyists. We're so used to hobbyist flyers pretty much being ignored, or certainly feeling ignored by regulators and companies out there. So it's nice to have that level of interaction. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat this evening. I really do appreciate it. Thanks again to Gareth Watmore for joining us in the chat as well to answer questions. I appreciate that as well. And we will see you next time on Geeksvana Live. See you next Thursday, people. Bye-bye.